So everybody wants to know how it turned out, and more importantly, does it work? As you can see, we got seed and straw down, grass is starting to grow, leaves are starting to change behind me. It's now the end of October. Where we left off on our last videos was Labor Day weekend. That's the weekend we rented the mini excavator. There was one piece that was still not connected in the French drain system here. If you remember where we dug up that 6-inch pipe on the other side of the driveway, we kind of dug in the middle of it and separated it to try and find where it was clogged. We then snaked it out. We had to repair that section so that the pipe was continuous and would flow all the way down to the other side of the driveway. I had to get some 6-inch parts which weren't available locally, so I had to order those, so it took a couple of days until I was able to get that part connected. I decided to go ahead and put a T in with a standpipe to basically create a clean out, an inspection point in there. Here's a close up on our final connection. We got our Vernco in place here. It's nice and solid. And our T, and then going back into the coupling that we pulled the previous pipe out of. That point is essentially the center of that run. I'm able to reach from this T uphill to the downspout with my snake, as well as downhill to across the other side of the driveway. So if there ever becomes an issue down the road, I can open that cap, look in there, see what's going on, get the snake in there, and I'll be able to identify any issues that way. Where we left off in this yard on Monday, everything was very rough and muddy. We weren't able to get it to final grade. There was rain in the weather forecast for Saturday afternoon, so we let it dry until Thursday. On Thursday, we took the tractor with the blade and just tried to turn over the wetter parts and see if we could get them to dry out. Actually relatively dry by Thursday, so the goal to get it finished up on Friday seemed achievable. Friday afternoon, I came back and tried to get everything to finish grade. Start with this section here, which I haven't been able to get on. I've got the blade on the tractor shifted all the way over to the right. Go ahead and get the blade centered back up. You just loosen those two bolts and then you can slide it side to side. I did as much as I could with the tractor and the blade, and all the areas right up next to the house I had to do by hand with a rake. It was a little bit more raking than maybe I had expected. I was starting to get exhausted. It was getting dark. The weather forecast was still saying no rain until the evening on Saturday the following day. So I figured I had all morning to get the seed down, the straw down. Well, that was incorrect. It started raining on Saturday morning. It was just a drizzle. It was no big deal. As sticky as this soil is, as soon as it got a little rain on it, I could hardly walk on it. So I waited until it dried out a little bit more before I did the seed and straw. I let it dry a few days. No rain in the weather forecast. Planning to try and go do it that afternoon after work. I had maybe 30 minutes left in my workday and it just started pouring. Now everything was at finished grade, so all the water drained pretty well. The problem was there was no straw, no anything on top of the soil to hold it in place. So mud started washing when the water started moving. Anybody who's dealt with this before knows that once that mud starts washing, it starts to silt on top of the catch basin grates, and then the catch basins aren't going to work well if they're covered in dirt. This guy looks like it's pretty much completely covered. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. So this here is kind of our overflow for when we have an event like this, and the French drain's just not going to keep up with this much water. I do have a couple of low spots I need to fill right here. For the most part, this is all draining down to the catch basin like it should. It's just that with this much water washing, no straw on this to hold back the mud from washing, then the catch basins get all silted over. And with that, we're gonna head back inside. Sounds like we're about to get more. It was a really good test for the system. Everything worked as expected. Before I put the seed and straw down, I was able to make a few tweaks with the rake just to help a few little areas. So finally it dried out enough. I was able to get the hand raking done around the edges in the lower yard. I had to bring in a little bit of soil in a couple of areas where I had taken too much out. And then I was able to get the seed and straw down. Of course, I bought 3 bales of straw thinking that would be enough. I used 2.5 in this yard, so half a bale was not enough for that lower yard. Fortunately, I was able to go out the next morning, get 2 more bales, get that all finished up before the rain came, and it did rain later that day. Now, we haven't had any substantial rains since we've had the seed and straw down. Everything that we've had has been just light drizzles. I don't know how well you can see the hail on the driveway, but that's the little small pea-sized hail. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this from here, but there's a nice stream of water flowing down our swale right into the catch basin. So even though it ended up taking another 2 weeks to get all the seed and straw down because of we kept dodging the rain, we got it all wrapped up. Everything looks great and all the drainage works well. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you back here on our next video.